Give them your house. This is a follow on to my previous video here on this subject, and I only put up 4 hours ago, and at the moment it has 96 views in 4 hours. This migration is a hot topic, and there are those fully in favour of it, as you'll see here, and those who are not. I'm not in favour of it, nor am I believe in the right to have private property. And if somebody gets married and buys a house and pays a mortgage and rears their 4 kids in it, and it's a biggish house, and then they get on in years, they're entitled to stay there if they want. Moving house is not that easy. They're entitled to stay there, but many people say no, they should be put out and all this. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you vote for Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil or Sinn Féin, that is their policy. And I cannot understand why anyone would vote for such a policy that they don't want. It's all right if you're a communist and a left wing, then give all away. We all know that. That's been the argument for generations. Now, I want to show you some of the comments there were. Pub rock and roll. I've always wondered what deals were made when Ireland was admitted to the UN Security Council. We'll never know that. Oh yeah, of course there was deals, but what they were, we'll never know. Kit Connolly, it's ridiculous to see big houses with 1 or 2 in it. Look at the parish priest and the bishop. Now it's the bishop should get out. Living in 10-room mansions. And what if they want to have people around? That's wrong. This should have been sorted out years ago. So now you see, take the property of the church, you see. They got rid of the churches, they have kind of watered them down, and now they want to replace it. But I've always said there's no such thing as a political vacuum, and there's no such thing as a religious vacuum. Any loss the churches, the Christian churches in Ireland have made is replaced by climate hysteria religion, migration hysteria religion, and LGBTQ homosexual hysteria as well. So that's what fills the vacuum. Okay, Kevin too. Great idea. I will go one step further and put Fine Gael homeowners out on the street. So I was saying we put them in some kind of a cabin down the back, and he says if they're Fine Gael voters, put them out altogether. But the problem is, how do we know who voted Fine Gael? How do we know that? I know, and I'm aiming at this, but to say, I suppose you could get them to declare. You could order them out and then say, prove that you didn't vote Fine Gael and make them fill out an affidavit. I said that would work. I've always said that the secret vote is disastrous. Why should you be able to go into the ballot box and vote secretly in a country where there's nobody going to kill you? Ridiculous situation. It's mad. You should have to state who you vote for. Now, so anyway, the next one is Kelly too. We declare the right of the Irish people to the ownership of Ireland. This is a big claim. I agree, we should own our own country. I'd say your family did well out of the Land Commission. No, I got no land. My family got no land out of the Land Commission. All my land was all privately owned. It was at one time the landlord's land, and now I bought a good bit. And in one piece of land I bought, I was nearly killed in a bus crash coming from school, and I used the compensation to buy the bit of land, and I have it yet. So that's the way it is, but I got nothing out of the Land Commission. Some people did. There had to be something done about big landed estates and big landlord estates where they weren't using it. There had to be some way to take that kind of land and give it to the Irish people. But what happened in many cases was they took it off decent farmers. I knew a woman that was farming, her husband died. And the minute she died, she was doing the best to run a farm, and the Land Commission came and took it off her. And she had to go and lease it back from the Land Commission on a yearly rent for 5 years, and they eventually took it off her altogether. And I think that's very wrong. That typifies the Irish state. The poor woman didn't know how to challenge it in the courts or anything else. So I'm not in favour of the way the Land Commission was done. That's for another day. We're not going into it there. I got nothing off the Land Commission anyway. Now, the next one then is Vincent O'Donnell. The Irish people are not in control of their own country. Our government has gone rogue. Here, they're gone rogue. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, the rascals, have gone rogue. Rogue! Now, that Simon Coveney, what a rogue! Oh, God almighty. And the other jackasses, and that Donnelly fella that did all that damage away a few years ago, that I'm not allowed to speak here. What a crowd of rogues. That's the point. Why are ordinary decent people voting for them and going to vote again? Is there any hope we could get them to stop? Because they're not going to change their spots, okay? Sorry, in France. Now, the next one is Bohemien Bogman. I gather small farmers are being forced out of their property, the idea being to find them into making a living. Well, I work with the department. You can't farm anymore without a direct interaction with the department. It's mostly online. They do provide a good deal of help if you get bogged down in the IT and all of that sort of stuff, and if your account gets logged. And there's a bit of help there. I'm not too critical about how the department works, but then the EU is forcing in these ever stricter controls, re-wetting land without complying with the SCA directive, taking the cattle without complying it, and I'll soon have to move away from helping people doing wind things and pylons and tackle them on the cattle, because if they go to take my cattle, I might have to take an action on the Strategic Environmental Assessment Directive, which includes agriculture under Article 3.2. Okay, now the next one then is France. In France, a migrant went mad in a park and started stabbing people and kids and even a small baby. Of course, I would expect nothing else. Now, don't forget, this was a migrant from somewhere over. I think it was somewhere in the east. I'm not sure what country over there. One of those countries. Not sure if it was Afghanistan. I'd probably be on the news. But the point is, I have people listening to the RT News. That's radio, television here in Ireland, and there was no mention of it being a migrant. And in Ireland, if a migrant kills somebody and they're charged, you can't speak about it because the Criminal Justice Act stops you commenting on a case where it's before the courts. You have to wait until it's over, and that could be 2 years. So, but here it is. RT did not say they were a migrant. You see, RTE is part of this. RT, the radio, television, and the papers, except maybe the Mail on Sunday, is part of this. So you need to stop looking at RT and don't have a telly. If you can, get it out. It's no good. There's nothing on it. Now, so this is Kathleen Killeen. 20% of the population weren't even born here. 100,000 in 2022 came here. 150,000 in 2023. 200,000 in 2004. It's all over, folks. Build a 10-foot wall around your house and start South African style living. Yeah, that's what's coming here. A million every few years. Now, the other lad here, Evan Haley, is saying 1 out of 8 in 10 years. Where did you get your statistics from? Now, he goes on then to break that down and say that by that we'd be 50-50 in August this year. That half of us would be 50-50 in August. Don't forget, this is accelerating. Don't forget the Swedish Foreign Minister told our Taoiseach Micheál Martin that there are 500 million Africans alone. That's Africa without Asia. Planning to come here to Europe, and Europe is automatically forcing them here because I've said before, we are being fined for not taking the migrants as the European Union dictates. Okay, so he's saying, oh, where'd you get your figures from? It's quite simple. In 8 years' time, we'll be vast minorities. Go to O'Connell Street in Dublin. We'll only be a tiny proportion of the population. You work it out there, Evan. Work it out there at 200,000 a year, right? Per year. In 5 years, that's 1 million. Okay, and then this could accelerate. That's not enough. They want more. You can't wait until they're here to point out this problem. And he asked me, have I a drink taken? I'll let viewers be the judge of that. We can have more debate on this anyway. And I'm not being critical of Evan Haley because we need the opposite comment to get a bit of a rattle going on the site. Okay, now, Kaza too said, I have no pity for anyone with more property than they need in this country. All farmers are descendants from robber barons. The land is in the 1916 Constitution belongs to the people of Ireland. It was supposed to be shared out equally. That has never happened. Farmers got all the land while others living out their lives in hovels. I don't care who gets it, as long as it's divided up equally as it was originally meant to be. Shameful to see how much stolen road frontage they have belonging to people in one-room flats, and the length and breadth of Ireland. Big fat heads on these farmers walking around in their big boots, not so much longer. Now, this is very, very interesting. This is Kazi, a comment 3 hours ago. So you see that this is a particular opinion. This is communism. This is casterism. This is what has been tried in most parts of the country, including China, and they had to all move away from it. You get this in North Korea, and under this thing, the state is always tops. And our constitution does not say we own all the land. It says the right of the people to own the land generally. And don't forget, the mining rights of all land is still retained by the state. But other than that, we have a land registry system in this country, and we have a land ownership system, and our entire legal system is based on that. And if a field goes for sale, you can bid on it, and the only way we know who to put in it is whoever can bid the most. That is the system we have. I would not be that critical of it. I would intervene in small ways to stop monopolies and stuff like that. But I think the system that we have has worked us fairly well and has kept us fairly happy. And I think we could have had a small amount of decent migrants coming in to work here, like Filipino nurses and doctors. And if they don't want to go home, I wouldn't send them home with their young kids and all that. We could have coped with all that. But that is not what we have. We have a craving by the European Union and government for this mass migration, and we never voted for mass migration. This was never in any of the treaties. So folks, I just want to read them out and invite more and more replies to this, and I'll do another video in 11 minutes. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Even if you disagree, give me a thumbs up for the effort anyway, or if you disagree, give me a thumbs down if you think I'm totally wrong. My idea here is to have some ordinary person, an ordinary rural farmer, talk about this, because everyone's afraid of their living life. The level of cowardice among the Irish people is unbelievable. There has to be a cry for freedom there somewhere. We'll see you back for something else soon. Goodbye.